Yo guys, what is going on? JPS back for another video, and today we're going to be reacting to USA versus Europe, live to work, work to live. And the idea of living to work is not really an idea. That's how America runs. That's how I've been living my life to some degree, and that's how everyone has to live their life because you have to make money. But it feels like here the goal is to work and to make as much money as possible because money defines you in the United States to a large degree. However, in Europe, things are a bit different. I feel like people are more focused on actually living and doing things outside of work, and work is just the means to be able to do those things, which is something that's really guided my interest in Europe recently, which has led to a lot of reactions to Germany specifically on my second channel, and I'll actually end up visiting Germany this summer, spend my first time in a European country other than the UK on my own, so that'll be really exciting. But let's get right into this. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, consider joining the Patreon. First link in description for full reactions to British shows and movies, and let's go.
As an American working and living in Europe, I've actually never experienced a real summer vacation until coming to Europe.
Yeah.
It's summer, and all the Europeans seem to be out of office on holiday vacation. Everything pretty much comes to a stop. Every email seems to be out of office. And if you're a non-European working with Europeans, you know what I mean. Nobody seems to be in the office. And even during a pandemic summer, Europeans still seem to find a way to get out, to travel. Now, it's not only the fact that Americans get less vacation days per year compared to the average European, but it's really the mindset. The mindset between work and life.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I just returned from my
great
European holiday, my European vacation, where I spent 2 months back home in California. I spent 1 month working from home and 1 month on vacation. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could actually recharge and enjoy my vacation. I didn't feel the need to check my email, to think about work, to call someone. No one was calling me, no one emailed me, and I felt completely relaxed. And I feel recharged now to go back to work. And isn't that what a vacation should be?
Yeah.
Where you go away, you enjoy, you relax, you spend time with family, friends, whoever, travel, and then you come back recharged. Isn't that what a vacation should be?
That's what it should be, I think.
Now let me compare and contrast that with the first vacation I ever took back in the US. This was back in 2011. I was working for a Big Four accounting firm, and I took a 2-week vacation. A 2-week vacation to a very remote village in China to see the rice paddies. And when I was checking the hotels and the reviews, I was looking for the Wi-Fi speed. I was looking for reviews to see if they had good Wi-Fi. And it was because I felt the need to bring my laptop with me to stay on top of things. And I took my laptop with me on this trip. I remember taking this big laptop with me, carrying it up a mountain, a big hill. And when I finally got to the hotel, the first thing I did when I checked in was to check the internet speeds, to check to see if my email worked, to see if everything was okay, no fires. And that was the big difference when I compare and contrast then and now. In the US, when I took vacations, I was never really completely off. My mind was still thinking about work.
Yeah.
I was sometimes checking email, sometimes in the most remote places in the world, and I was never really off. Whereas in Europe, when I take vacation, there's that expectation that when you take vacation, you're off. And when everyone has that mentality, you also feel the need to relax and to be completely off when you take vacation as well. So, why is this so? You see, the values and philosophies are very different, Americans and Europeans. Europeans work to live, and Americans seem to live to work. Not to say that there's a right way to live, but what is the right way for you?
It's a really good question.
So I've been in Europe for about 3 years now, 2 years working, and I remember when I first started work, I was talking to a mutual friend who came from Chicago with her company, Deloitte Consulting, and
Oh,
she was
Deloitte.
surprised when she first started working here in Amsterdam. She was surprised because at 5 o'clock, nobody was in the office. It was empty on a summer day. Nobody was in the office. And this was a big difference because in consulting, especially in consulting, back home in Chicago, she would work late nights up until 8, 9, 10 in the evenings, even during the summer. But when she came here, 5, 6 o'clock, office was empty. And when I first started working, that's also what I realized as well. And to be honest, at the beginning, I made an assumption. I felt like people here weren't as ambitious as compared to the US. But then slowly through time, I rethought my assumption because here I was with the mindset of an American that my life was focused on work. And when other people weren't as focused as I was,
And it frustrates you.
and they were focused on other parts of life, I assumed that they weren't ambitious.
Yeah.
And that was wrong to assume because that's the difference between Americans and Europeans, that mindset that Americans seem to live to work, whereas Europeans seem to work to live. America has been called the no vacation nation, and the US is the only advanced nation in the world that does not guarantee its citizens paid vacation days. For example, the typical American with 1 year of employment gets around 10 days of vacation. It's only until after year 5 that the typical American gets around 15 days of vacation. But here's the thing. Most Americans don't use up all their holiday vacation. In fact, Americans only use up around 50% of their holiday vacation. And let's compare this with some other countries, for example, in Europe, where most people get around 20, 25, 30 days of paid vacation per year. And the thing is, employees in these countries can actually negotiate for a 4-day work week or buy more vacation time.
That sounds like a European idea. The balance.
So what's potentially driving the difference? The difference between mindsets of working to live and living to work. Well, here's a few things that I've observed. Well, for one, in Europe, there's a better social welfare system. And as a result, there's less fear. Less fear in getting fired.
Yeah.
Less fear in getting a big medical bill if you go on vacation and something happens and you don't have health insurance. And people here in Europe seem to get more worker rights. And as a result, people feel like they can take vacation, a more relaxed vacation without worry. Things are also slower in Europe. Pace of life seems slower. And things aren't open 24/7 like the US. And there's more work-life balance here because of the fact that people get more vacation days. People get 20 days, 25 days of guaranteed vacation, and people take their vacation here as well. Now, I don't think there's a right way to take vacations. Well, actually, I take that back. I do think there's a right way to take vacations, and I think Europeans get it right. I think every person should be guaranteed at least 4 weeks of vacation days per year, and that you should take 100% of those vacation days. Because when you go away, you unplug, you relax, you do whatever you want to do, ultimately, you come back as a fuller person, a more recharged person, so that you're actually more productive when you get back to work. There's a lot of research that backs this up as well. Now, for myself, I still have 4 weeks left of unused vacation days, and frankly, I don't know how to use them up. But I guess that's a good problem to have.
That's a really good problem to have. Wow. Guys, I gotta say, This was a really good video. I love to hear this guy's insight and his own experience living in the U.S. and working to Europe. I have to say I agree with almost everything he said. Almost everything he said about the United States that I'm able to speak on. You know, I haven't lived in Europe. I haven't worked in Europe. I haven't really even worked in real industries. I've worked, you know, the normal teenage job in the restaurant industries, the casual things. I mean, I guess you could consider YouTube the real industry, but it's so different. I haven't really gotten into the 40-hour week in the United States, but I see it. I mean, I've seen it in my parents, my friends, older friends who do have these jobs, and it's true. There is this just competitive nature to jobs in the United States. You're not guaranteed anything, especially at times like this where the economy may not be at its best. Jobs are not just coming to you right after you graduate. Like, you have to have your resume looking sharp. You have to have past experience, related work experience. You have to have certifications. You have to do all these things on your own time at your own expense before you can even get a job in a lot of different industries. And some of that even may include medical school, graduate school, where you're taking out loans on top of undergraduate, and it just gets this huge accumulation of snowball to the point where you're not even going to start paying off your debt until your 30s. And that's what a lot of people have accepted. They've accepted this. And that 10 years is just complete grinding and working, and that's going to translate over to your 30s, and then it just keeps going. And it's because we don't have the security of the next day. You know, things are moving at rapid paces in the United States. People move at rapid paces, especially in big cities. And there's not that security. You're clinging on to dear life at all times for whatever you have, and everyone's kind of in it for themselves. There's this individual point. It's not very communal, regardless of the neighborhood you live in. I've lived in multiple different neighborhoods throughout the U.S., and there is a lack of community, which people just tend to take on life by themselves with their families, which I get, but at the same time, it would be nice. There's a lot of complaints I have about the United States. Everyone's going to complain about wherever they're from. I'm sure people in Europe are saying, hey, you know, this work-life balance is cool, but we have a lot of other problems here. So no place is going to be this utopian country where it's like, oh, I need to go here. It's going to be a million times better than this. Every place is going to have its pros and cons, but this is something that I think is it's a bit more important and should be held to that level of importance, because this dictates your entire life. If you're living to work, you're not living. But if you're working to live, see? And that's something I've really come to realize over the past few months as I've taken a deeper dive into Europe and the customs and ideas about how life should be lived by Europeans. So what I was excited about is the fact that I'm visiting Germany in the summer. Doesn't sound like there's a much better time to visit Germany, not only given the work-life thing, but also just the weather and things like that, and also be in the UK as well. So that will be my little, that's interesting too with the work-life thing, because I'll be making vlogs but also on vacation kind of. But good thing I really enjoy making vlogs and making videos, so it's not really work. That's the best scenario there, where you actually enjoy what you're doing for money. It's amazing. So I'm so excited and so grateful to be able to do that. So thank you all so much for watching these videos and allowing me to have this platform and allowing me to make these videos for y'all. So thank you so much for watching them. But yeah, this was a really good video. I loved what he had to say in this one. So hopefully you guys did as well. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next one.